In the heart of our city, where shadows dance and whispers linger in the air like ghosts of the past, there exists a legend, a tale so chilling, it sends shivers down the spine of even the bravest souls. This is my story, and the legend of the Shadow Man, a figure cloaked in darkness, who prowls the forgotten alleyways, preying on those foolish enough to cross his path. It all began with my father, an archaeologist of the occult, whose thirst for knowledge led him into the very heart of the darkness that plagued our town. He disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a heart heavy with grief. Determined to unravel the mystery of his disappearance, I set out into the night, with nothing but a flickering flashlight and a sense of foreboding that clung to me like a second skin. As I ventured deeper into the maze of the city streets, the rain fell in a steady rhythm, casting eerie shadows that seemed to reach out and grab at me with ghostly fingers. Each step I took echoed in the silence, a solitary beat in the symphony of the night. But despite the palpable sense of dread that hung in the air, I pressed on, driven by a determination to confront the darkness that had claimed my father. It wasn't long before I heard the whispers, the hushed murmurs of those who spoke of the Shadow Man, a figure so malevolent, so otherworldly, it defied comprehension. With each whispered tale, my resolve hardened, fueled by a desire to uncover the truth behind the veil of fear that gripped our town. And so, armed with naught but my courage and the feeble light of my flashlight, I delved deeper into the darkness, guided by the haunting melodies of the rain as it pounded relentlessly against the cobblestone streets. But as I ventured further into the heart of the city, the shadows seemed to grow thicker, the darkness more suffocating. It was as if the very fabric of reality had been twisted and distorted, leaving me trapped in a nightmare from which I could not awaken. And then, amidst the cloak of shadows, he emerged. A towering figure wreathed in darkness, his presence suffocating, his gaze piercing through the very depths of my soul. The Shadow Man stood before me, a living embodiment of fear incarnate, his form shifting and contorting with each flicker of my feeble light.
"Welcome, little lamb, to my domain."
His voice echoed like distant thunder, sending chills down my spine.
"Do you think you can uncover the truth, or are you merely another lamb to the slaughter? Oh, how I enjoyed devouring your father's soul. I bet yours is just as sweet."
The mere mention of my father added anger to my fear. I tried to scream, to banish the terror that threatened to consume me whole, but my voice faltered, lost in the vast expanse of the night. With trembling hands, I raised my flashlight, hoping to pierce the darkness and uncover the truth that lay hidden within. But as the beam of light cut through the shadows, I was met with naught but emptiness, an empty alleyway devoid of life, save for the echoes of my own ragged breath. Undeterred, I pressed on, driven by a determination to confront the darkness that had claimed my father. But with each step I took, the shadows seemed to grow thicker, the whispers louder, until I could no longer tell where reality ended and nightmare began. And then, in the depths of the night, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber, a place where darkness and despair converged in a symphony of horror. Adorned with ancient symbols and forgotten relics, the chamber held the key to unlocking the mysteries that shrouded our town in fear. But as I gazed upon the grotesque statue that loomed before me, a voice echoed in the depths of my mind, a voice that spoke of unspeakable horrors, of a hunger that could never be sated. In that moment, I realized the chilling truth. The Shadow Man was not a mere legend, but a malevolent force that had lurked in the shadows of our city for centuries, feasting on the fear of those who dared to seek him out. With newfound terror coursing through my veins, I fled from the chamber, knowing that I had stumbled upon something far more terrifying than I could have ever imagined, and by far, much more stronger than the strongest of flashlights could battle. But even as I escaped into the safety of the night, I knew that the Shadow Man would forever haunt my dreams, a reminder that some legends are more than just stories. They are warnings, whispered by the darkness itself. Months had passed since my harrowing encounter with the Shadow Man, but his presence lingered like a specter in the darkest corners of my mind. Night after night, I was plagued by nightmares, visions of darkness and despair, where the sinister silhouette of the Shadow Man loomed over me, his eyes burning with malevolent intent. Desperate for respite, I sought solace in the remnants of my father's life, hoping to find some semblance of closure amidst the chaos that had consumed me. It was in his office, amidst the dusty tomes and forgotten relics, that I stumbled upon a chest, a relic from a time long forgotten, its contents shrouded in mystery. With trembling hands, I pried open the lid, revealing a small amulet nestled within, its surface adorned with strange symbols and runes. Beside it lay a letter, penned in my father's hand, a message from beyond the grave, guiding me on a path I had never imagined.
Son, if you are reading this, then I may no longer be a part of this realm. I am so sorry that my obsession took me from your life. I bequeath to you this amulet. My boy, vanquish the evils of the world's urban legends and continue my work.
The words echoed in my mind, filling me with a sense of purpose and determination. With the weight of my father's legacy heavy upon my shoulders, I vowed to confront the darkness that had consumed our town and vanquish the Shadow Man once and for all. Armed with the amulet and a newfound sense of resolve, I returned to the lair of the Shadow Man, the echoes of his malevolent laughter ringing in my ears. The air crackled with anticipation as I ventured deeper into the heart of the darkness, each step bringing me closer to the confrontation that awaited. And then, amidst the shadows, he emerged, a towering figure wreathed in darkness, his presence suffocating, his gaze burning with hatred. The Shadow Man's form was twisted and contorted, his features obscured by the inky blackness that surrounded him. His eyes glowed with a sickly red light, reflecting the malevolence that lurked within his soul.
So you've returned, determined to vanquish me once and for all. How quaint. But know this, my dear nemesis, I am not so easily extinguished. Your efforts will be futile, as darkness always prevails in the end.
With a primal roar, the Shadow Man lunged at me, his movements fluid and unnatural. I raised the amulet, its light shimmering with ancient power, and met his attack head-on. The clash of our forces sent shockwaves rippling through the darkness, the very fabric of reality trembling at our feet. But the Shadow Man was relentless, his attacks coming faster and fiercer with each passing moment. I fought with all my strength, every blow landing with the force of a sledgehammer. But still he pressed on, driven by an insatiable hunger for destruction. The battle raged on, the sounds of our struggle echoing through the empty corridors of the lair. Bloodied and battered, I fought on, fueled by the memory of my father and the knowledge that the fate of our town hung in the balance. And then, with a final desperate surge of strength, I unleashed the full power of the amulet, its light engulfing the Shadow Man in a blinding explosion of energy. With a deafening roar, he was consumed by the light, his form dissolving into nothingness as the darkness that had shrouded our town was banished once and for all. As the echoes of the battle faded into the silence of the night, I collapsed to my knees, exhausted but victorious. With the amulet clutched tightly in my hand, I knew that my journey was far from over. But for now, the darkness had been defeated, and light had triumphed over shadow. As I gazed at the amulet in my trembling hand, the swirling shadows within seemed to whisper secrets of malevolence and dread. I shuddered at the realization that the Shadow Man was trapped within its depths, bound by ancient magic. Returning to my father's study, I found yet another letter, his words guiding me with urgency.
Son, when you house the evils within the amulet, you must rehome them. Pull the Book of Sanctuary from the shelf. Behind it you will find my secret laboratory. You must never allow the creatures to escape, for then sheer terror will consume all.
I pulled the antique, leather-bound book and fearfully stepped into my father's secret laboratory. The air crackled with latent magic. My eyes fell upon a towering curio cabinet, its surface adorned with intricate symbols that shimmered with ancient power. The glass, a mesmerizing blend of light blues, seemed to ripple and dance with ethereal energy, revealing tantalizing glimpses of mysterious artifacts within. Each shelf held a treasure trove of arcane wonders, from glowing orbs to shimmering crystals and illuminated runes, their faint hums resonating with untold secrets. With each careful step, I felt the weight of my responsibility deepen, knowing that within these walls lay the key to containing the darkness of the world. With a trembling hand, I retrieved the rest of the letter from my father, its words guiding me through the intricate ritual required to transfer the Shadow Man into one of the magical cubes. My heart raced as I prepared to confront the embodiment of darkness itself, knowing that the fate of the world rested upon my shoulders and the success of this perilous endeavor. With a steadying breath, I followed the instructions laid out in my father's letter, my fingers tracing the intricate symbols etched into the laboratory table nearby. I gathered the necessary components: a vial of moonlight, a handful of lavender dust, and a strand of pure silver thread, each pulsing with latent magic. As I began the ritual, the air grew heavy with anticipation, crackling with energy as the levitating glass cube hummed with newfound intensity. By the light of the moon and the stars above, I call upon the ancient powers to bind thee, I intoned, my voice trembling with the weight of centuries-old incantations. For you, Shadow Man, within this cursed amulet, your reign of terror ends here. By the silver thread of destiny, I command thee to submit to the will of the arcane forces. The air crackled with magic as the shadows writhed within the cube, resisting the pull of the ritual. You cannot escape your fate, creature of darkness, I continued, my voice growing stronger with each word. In the name of my father and all those who came before, I banish thee to this prison of light, where you shall remain bound for eternity. With each incantation uttered, the shadows within the cube quivered and contorted, resisting the call of the arcane forces at play. But I pressed on, my resolve unwavering, until at last, with a blinding flash of light, the Shadow Man was drawn forth from the amulet and imprisoned within the confines of the cube. And with a final flourish, I completed the ritual, sealing the Shadow Man's fate within the confines of the glass cube. I hesitantly unlocked the curio cabinet. I could hear the whispers of the evil trapped within. I carefully placed the cube and quickly locked it back. I stared at the glowing glass and breathed a sigh of relief. Tears flowed down my face as the echoes of the ritual faded into silence. I knew that the battle against darkness had only just begun. I didn't know where the journey would take me next, but I stood firm, ready to honor and avenge my father, and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.